So to make this bottom, I'm gonna be using the same colors that I used for the top, and I'm going to be using again from 50 to 70 grams of yarn, okay? 70 being 70 grams for the large size. I'm going to start with any of the colors, and I'm going to chain 12. I'm using cotton yarn and I'm using a 2.1 millimeters hook, okay? You can be using all the way to 2.5, just be aware that the pattern changes. So I'm going to chain 12. And then I'm going to double crochet. I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 4th chain from the beginning. And double crochet, yeah? So double crochet all the way to the beginning here. So you know I'm here working with yarn that's an 8 ply instead of 4, but I do really prefer the 4, and that's because it dries faster, okay? So if you want a faster drying bikini, don't use thicker yarn. And if you're using acrylic, just try a blend with cotton. It's important to have the cotton on bikinis so it dries faster. Okay, so after you finish this row, we're gonna make 4 more rows, counting 5 of these with 10 stitches, counting the 2 stitches on the beginning. So just chain 2 and then double crochet across 5 times. Okay, now if you're making each size up you make an extra row here on the beginning, so the bikini at the end it's gonna be higher, okay, because you need more rows in between your legs to have a higher crotch, okay? So I'm gonna be making now 5 rows of this, and then I'm gonna be changing to another color and I'm gonna start increasing after, okay? Now we're gonna start, this is gonna be right in between your legs on the bottom here, and we're gonna start working this way up, okay? So try and use the same color change as you used on the top. And now I'm gonna put the pink, make the little knot to start, and then pull it through. Make it both tied, and then chain 2. This is the row where we're gonna start increasing stitches. And so put the tails in front like that, and you're gonna work on top of it to already hide them while you go, okay? That's gonna be make your life easier at the end. And we are going to double crochet 4 in this first row, and then we're gonna chain 1. That's all we are going to be doing in this row. 1, 2, 3. Actually, I need one more here, okay? So make one more. It's gonna be right in the middle of your work, and then chain 1 and double crochet across. Okay, so on my next row, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2, turn my work, double crochet all the way to where the chain is. So double crochet 5, counting with the 2 first chains, they count, okay? And then here in every single row from now, I'm going to double crochet 1, chain 1, and double crochet 1 more. Okay, this is the way I'm going to increase. That's the same way I did on the top as well. And I'm going to be repeating the same exact row, changing the colors 16 more times. So I'm going to have a total of 22 rows at the end, 21 rows, because I have 5 on the beginning. So here on the beginning, make sure you make that last stitch here. It's a bit difficult. And then swap the yarn. Okay, so on the next row, we're going to be making this same cluster of stitches on the top of this chain, and that's the way you're gonna increase 2 stitches in every row, okay? And that's gonna create a kind of similar design to this, not exactly the same, because here we started with a magic ring, okay? So change the color, chain 2 with the new color, and then double crochet in that first double crochet underneath, then double crochet in the next one. It's just double crochets really until you reach the middle part where the chain is. And then here again I'm going to double crochet one, chain one, and double crochet another one. And then double crochet across, and repeat the same thing. Now you're gonna be repeating this 16 times for a small, 18 times for a medium, and 20 times for a large, okay? So you have to gonna have more color changes as you grow in sizes, okay? And if you want more coverage, if you don't like the small coverage, the way to increase is to add more stitches here in this middle chain. So you're gonna have 2 double crochets, 1 chain, and 2 double crochets instead of 1 in a few rows, not all of them, otherwise it's gonna be too big, okay? So every second or third row you can do that, increase more stitches to have a bigger coverage if you want. I like the coverage of this one. And again, this is gonna be only for the back, okay? For the front, you repeat this process that I'm making. If you want a bigger coverage, repeat this only on the back, okay? Not on the front. So this is my front, okay? I worked 16 rows here. And again, as I said, for a medium size, 18, for a large size, 20 rows, which would be here, okay? Or just try as you go, look on yourself, see how high it's going, just place on your body where it should be, and then you can see as well. And another way to see if your bikini is the right size is to get a bikini you have in lycra that you like. Just put it behind and see how you go on sizes, okay? So now I'm going to start the first corner here just to show you one of the corners, because that's something people actually have always have questions about. So start from where you stopped the last row. If you want to change color, just change color before you do that. And I'm going to chain 4 because I ended up on the red, and that's what I want to finish the bikini with. That's what I'm doing here. So chain 4, and then you're gonna skip 1 and make the first double crochet in that third stitch. Okay, and it's gonna be look like this, and then skip 1, and then sorry, I just made 1 chain. It's so fast for me sometimes. 1 chain, and then skip 1 here, double crochet in that third one, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. And I'm going to repeat this throughout the rows until I have only one of these double crochets left. So just keep making all the way until you reach the middle part of it. And then here we are going to make the last double crochet, not the last, but the last of that repetition here. That's how it is now. And then here, instead of making one chain, we are going just to double crochet right in that middle chain. Okay, so this is the first row. The next row we are going to chain 3, always 3 to turn on this side. Okay, so 3 here and 4 here. And then we are going to turn our work, and we are going to double crochet just in this next stitch here to make our first little square, and then get the shape like this. We want the shape like sort of like this. So we are going to chain 3 and then skip 1, 2 here, and always work on top of each double crochet. Okay, then chain 1 and double crochet in the very next double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet in the next one. Repeat all the way across. Chain 1 and then skip 1 chain here, and in the very next chain we're going to again double crochet, and then chain 4 again. Okay, so chain 4 to turn the work, and then I'm going to double crochet in the very next double crochet. Repeating the same row. I'm just going to go all the way to the end so you guys can see how I'm going to finish this next row. So just before you reach the last double crochet here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna again not make the chain, don't make the last chain in between the stitches, and then we're going to double crochet in the last double crochet here. Just double crochet in the last double crochet, but don't chain on the last one. And we're gonna repeat this throughout these rows now. Chain 3 and then turn, and then skip 1, 2, and double crochet in that same double crochet. So I'm going to be making these rows until I have only 3 stitches left. Okay, and so this is what the shape's looking like. As you can see, it's making the design straight on the top, and that's what we wanted with this. Okay, so I'm going to keep repeating these rows, and then I'm gonna show you how the last row looks like and how we start making the strings to each side. I have now 2, 4, 6, 8 rows. Of course, if you are making a medium or a large, you're gonna have more of them because you had more stitches here at the end. Okay, so you just really repeat the rows until you have what I have now. Okay, so I'm making this last row here. That's gonna be just like this. And then I made 4 chains and a double crochet on top of that double crochet, and now I'm going to make just another double crochet. Now from this last row we made, as you can see, I only have 3 stitches left. I'm going to chain 2 to turn my work, and then I'm going to double crochet, not in the first chain but the second one, and then that's how the bikini looks like now. As you can see, it will sit high on your waist, and that's how the design is like. And then now I'm going to make my first string. Okay, to then cover with the edges after. And I'm making 100 chains here to the side, and then I'm going to cut the yarn for this side. And then start right here on the other side to make this same exact work, okay? So make sure you have the same number of stitches on this side, and you should have, because you have the same number of the last row here, okay? So I'm going to do that, these two corners here with the strings, and then I'm going to start on the back part of this bikini. Okay guys, so now we finished both sides here, and so now I'm gonna turn my work and I'm going to start here from the middle to the other side, okay? Just gonna show you the beginning of it because it's basically the same all the way up to the other side, okay? So I'm going to start right in this chain here, and then I'm going to make a crochet knot on the back and pull it through. And then I'm going to chain 2 and work double crochets. You can hide these tails on the back as well. Just make sure you hide the tails always to the same side of your work so they are all there, as you can see. And now I'm going to be working on the other side of the chains. So here, as you can see this loop here, that's where I'm gonna be working, which is the other side of the stitch. Now I used to before work in the middle in between both stitches. That's another option as well, but I found out with the years that working on the other side of the chain just looks better. As you can see, looks really neat and nice. So I'm going to just repeat the same rows, same number I have on the other side, okay, unless you want the back higher than the front. So again here, if you are making a medium or a large, just make one more row on this part here. And then I'm gonna go up 5 stitches, 5 rows from where I have my tails. That's why you don't need to use markers, because you just use the tails as a marker from like where you started the work. So I normally, for all sizes, I normally only make 10 stitches in between the legs, because really it doesn't change much from one size to another. But if you think 10, if you are a large and if you think 10 is not enough, you can make probably 12. I wouldn't make much, because otherwise the bikini will sit like this on your body when you try it on. So I wouldn't recommend making more than 14 stitches in the middle for a large, okay? So I'm gonna go up from here where my tail is, 5 more rows, and then I'm going to just repeat exactly the same I did on the other side. And if you are making this as a bag, because it's gonna work the same for both sides if you are making just a normal increase. And if you are increasing for more coverage, if you think that's not enough coverage, you already made the front and this is not enough coverage for you, you can now on the back increase. I would increase 4 here, and then 4 here, and then 4 here instead of 2, because here we are increasing only 2 stitches, okay? If you want, you can increase 4 here, 4 here, and 4 here, making 2 double crochets, 1 chain, and 2 double crochets for more coverage, okay? But only do this 2 or 3 times. It's gonna be enough. You're gonna have a result like this if that's what you want, okay? So I'm going to work now the back, and then I'll come back with you to just finish with the edges, okay? Okay, so after finishing both sides, that's the length I have. If you're making a medium or a large, you should have 4 centimeters extra to each size. The only thing is that I'm using a yarn that's a little thicker than a 4-ply, so I would probably have, if I'm making this with a 4-ply yarn, I would probably have a little less length on this, okay? So be aware of that. The widest part has 6 centimeters, 5.5 inches or 14 centimeters. And the other one has 40 or 16 inches, okay? Now, to finish this, after my last string, that's the last string that I made, I'm going to start working and always looking to the right side of my work, okay? You want this picot stitch, this edging to be facing to the front of your bikini, not the back of it. And so after that last chains you made for the last string, I'm going to remove this from here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to skip 1, 2, and then in that third one I'm going to make my first single crochet, and then one more single crochet, just so my stitches, my edge is not so much on the at the end there. My third one. Now for this row here, you can keep doing this if you want just single crochet, okay? Because when you sunbake, that's if you're using the edges, the picot stitches, when you sunbake, it's gonna be like a wave pattern on your body. So if you want to avoid that, you can just keep going just with single crochets, one single crochet in each stitch all the way around the entire pattern. And here you're gonna have only 2 stitches, so 1 stitch is in the middle of the row, one in between both rows, and 1 stitch is in the middle of the row, okay? That's how I count these. Don't make more than that, otherwise your edge is gonna look much your bikini's not gonna hold properly on the body. So make less stitches than, you know, what you have. For example, here I would make only 1 here in the middle and 1 here, so I don't have as many stitches when I finish. So now what I'm going to do is, for the first picot, I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to single crochet in this stitch I just made to make this little loop to the top here. And then I'm going to skip the next one and make a chain, single crochet in the next one. And then from here I'm going to make 2 other single crochets, 3 other single crochets. And then chain 2 and repeat that stitch again. It's the same stitch, skip here, the next one. 1, 2, 3, and repeat. So I'm going to repeat this pattern all around. I'm gonna quickly show you how I do it here on the sides, so you know. And when I come back here, I will always work on the back of the chain. And I try to work the picot right on the other side in that same spot. So I'm gonna be working in this part of the chain here, this first loop here, and that's what where I'm going to be working the stitches on the other side of the strings, okay? And again, if you don't want that, if you don't want the picot stitch, just make one single crochet on the back of each foundation chain you have, okay? That's how you do it. And just to show you here on the side how I do, so after making that picot, I'm working in the middle of that row, and now I'm going straight to the middle of the next row. So that means I'm skipping one stitch, okay? And then I'm going to work in the next stitch, which is in between the rows, and then the next stitch in the row. And then I'm going to change to make that picot again. And this is how it's looking like now. And so if you guys enjoyed this tutorial, please, I would ask you to leave me a review on Etsy. It's really important for my business when you do that. And also you can ask me if you have any questions. You can ask me even here on the comments on YouTube, or you can ask me on my Instagram account as well. I always answer people there if you have any questions. And so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you made a beautiful bikini for you. And you enjoy this summer on the beach as well with your new bikini. Thank you for watching, guys, and I see you on the next tutorial.